Hi friends. So this video is probably going to ruffle some feathers, and that is okay. It is meant to. So this is a message that I've been called to speak on for a very long time. I've been personally convicted with this and have spoken out on this in my personal life countless times, again and again and again, to defend myself against Christians. So I do not call myself a Christian, and I will explain why. So throughout my life, I have been attacked again and again and again and again and again by people that claim to be Christians, that say that they are Christians. And I would never do that. I'm a Christian. Did you know Jesus never actually spoke about Christianity? Okay. It's like saying that the laws of nature are dictated by time. Time is a man-made construct. Animals don't know time. Their whole system is set with the rising and the setting of the sun. Human beings, their whole system, their internal clock, is set to the rising and the setting of the sun. It is through natural cycles. It is only humans that created the term of time, that created this construct of time, of minutes, hours, days, things of that nature. Animals just know that the seasons shift, time changes, things come and they go, and they wax and they wane, and just like the moon, just like the cycles of everything in the world. It is not based off of minutes and seconds. But humans have determined that there has to be minutes and seconds, and if you don't abide by this, and there's something actually physically wrong with your brain. Like me, I've been labeled as having time blindness. Another label that's been given to me is ADHD, and different labels like that are just terms that people use to try to categorize and lump people into boxes and groups and to give descriptions, so that way people can say, oh, well, that person's this, or that person's a Democrat or a Republican, or any of these different things, these different terms that human beings have made up to box people in and try to understand them and force them into a specific mold. So back to the whole Christianity thing. Throughout my life, and throughout the life of my ancestors as well, time and time and time again, the most biggest injustices have happened at the hands of Christians. How many times have you guys heard people say, I'm a Christian, I would never do that? I have never said that. I have never said that. Christians will point fingers and stuff at me, we'll just say, because I use the terminology the divine when I'm speaking of the one that most Christians call Jesus. I speak of the divine and the love that the divine has for me and for everyone and all of humanity. Jesus talks about how you will know my disciples by the way that they love one another. There's many, many discussions about the fruits of the Spirit and all of these things about love and unconditional love and not casting judgment, no hatred, having self-control, having patience, being able to forgive the unforgivable things, living as Christ lived while he was on earth. Okay? Many, many, many years ago, it was shown to me by the divine how much the darkness has infiltrated the Word of God and these things of twisting things and tweaking things, and that the only way to know what is truth is to listen to what your heart is saying, to listen to that heart space, to follow that heart. It's been said all over consciousness of that your heart will never lead you wrong, to just follow your heart will guide you. Well, what is in your heart? So in my heart, there's the love of the divine, there's the love of Christ. There's been a constant turning back to my heart and saying, heart, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What fills me with joy? What makes me reverberate with so much love and compassion that then I can give that energy to others? You can look at animals, you can look at small children, and they can see you. They can see what's in your heart. They see the love that's within you. How many times have you seen a child be afraid of someone when they've never even spoken a word? Where they just turn away and they just don't feel comfortable. And I'm talking babies, little ones. How many times have you seen where they just follow somebody's gaze and they're just so captivated and drawn to them, or they just start walking up to people, complete strangers, to give them love? The animals will do the same thing. They operate on love and energy. Every part of humanity and every part of the natural world operates on energy, on love, and different vibrations and feelings. That's why we have feelings, so that way they can guide us and steer us into different places. When you're afraid, there's something telling you energetically you're not safe, something is dangerous. When there's a predator nearby that you can't see, sometimes your animals will alert you to different things that they can sense, they can see, they can feel that there's a danger coming. I've had chickens where they will start hatching out eggs before a predator ever shows up on our property because they know that there is danger coming. And how do they know that? They can sense it. They can feel it. Back to the whole Christianity thing. Jesus talks at length about how they will know my people, my disciples, by the way that they live their lives, by the way that they give, by the way that they love. I'm sure all of us have encountered Christians that are the most judgmental, the harshest, most cruel human beings that say, if you don't do it this way, you're going to hell, and that sort of a thing. And that's not how God loves. That's not how the divine loves. Jesus never even spoke like that. There was never anger and hatred inside of him. The only time that there was hatred and anger inside of him was when there was Christians that were trying to say that you are bad for doing this or bad for doing that. They weren't speaking and preaching from a place of love. They were speaking and preaching from a place of hatred and judgment. It has been warned time and time again, judge not. It is not your place to judge. Judge not, lest you be judged yourselves. And what does that mean to me? To me, that means the same, and also do unto others as you would have done unto you. That means the same exact thing. That, like, what it means to me is the way that you look at another, the way that you judge another, that Jesus himself, that God, the divine, whatever phrase you want to use, will then judge your life the exact same way. Again and again and again. Those that have speak so much hatred and just, those words are not anointed. Any pastor, any preacher, anybody that is speaking, saying that they are speaking from God or spreading God's word, that is then talking about hatred or saying that this person or that person is a sinner and they're discarded and this and that and all that stuff, that is not from God. That is not from the divine. That is not coming from a place of love. It's said all over the place and time again that God is love. God is a loving God. Those words are not loving. If they come to you from a place of fear and anger and they stir inside of you, they're not from God. They're not from God at all. God is someone that is patient, that is loving, that is kind, that is nurturing. Picture that preschool teacher that you had that will bend over so gently to tie your shoes. That when you scrape your knee, they will pick you up and they will hug it and they will kiss it and they will say, it'll be better. Let me fix this. Like, here, it's okay. How do you soothe a child? I'm sure all of us have been children at some point that have been soothed properly, that have been loved. Maybe it's by a grandmother, maybe it's by, a teacher or a foster parent or somebody, just some stranger that sees you scrape your knee or something of the sort like that. And they just come and they rush in and they just give you so much love and care and compassion. How did that make you feel? What if I told you that that was the love of God being shown to you, being given to you? It wasn't the parent or the whoever that then goes, get off the ground, why are you crying about your busted up knee, blah, 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 blah. That's not the love of God. Even if they say that it is, that is not the love of God. God doesn't push and shove. He gently guides, gently pulls, speaks lovingly again and again and again. I have significant amounts of animals. We have a small farm. And there is such a huge difference in energy whenever you are working with the goats, because they are big enough that they can harm you if you do not have the proper energy. If you do not come to them from a place of love, they will behave very differently. When you are sitting there to milk them, if you are sitting in a place of love and reverberating peace and joy and calmness and just pure love, there is a difference in how they behave when they're being milked than if you are angry. There is a huge, huge difference. So many in this time, they want to just label people and put them into boxes of saying, well, you have this, or you are this, or you are that. You have to stay in this mold because that's how I can accept you. But I'm telling you right now, that's not how God sees things at all, whatsoever. I have struggled a lot of different times with the whole thing of transgender people, of trying to understand. Me, myself, I have never identified as being female internally. Biologically, I have female anatomy, yes. But on the inside, anybody that's known me pre-puberty, they were like, yeah, it was no big shock that you're gay. No big shock at all. Like, we always thought you would actually transition in this lifetime. Like, not a big shock. How many times did you say you hated being a woman and hated this and this was uncomfortable and that was uncomfortable and you didn't feel right and you were angry with God for making you a woman? How many times did you say that, Linz? And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess it was a lot of times. Things of that nature. And I struggled with that. I've been triggered a lot with the whole, like, how much transgender people are really ramming it down everybody's throat and all of this stuff, because I know that God does not make mistakes. And in the past couple of days, it's actually been revealed to me that God does not make mistakes. And I was shown again and again and again how differently my life path would be had I been born biologically a man or male, having male genitalia. My life path would be different. I would not be who I am today had I been a male. Anybody that knows my parents, knows my upbringing, knows my family line, they would be able to testify that the males are treated vastly different than the females. Vastly different. There is complete night and day change. I would not be able to live in a way of compassion and love had I been born in a different body. And that was something I struggled with, was if God doesn't make mistakes, then why do I feel so conflicted inside? Why are so many people feeling so conflicted inside of themselves? And to be honest, it's because God did not make a mistake at all whatsoever. He knew what energy you needed to be able to carry, but he also knew which life path you needed to be on, what physical embodiment you needed to have in order to fulfill the spiritual mission that you came to do. I've been angry with God at different times because I've been given a body that is considered technically weak. It is not really designed for living the lifestyle that I live. And I've been angry with God going, why? Why did you give me a body that is so broken? For those of you that are new here, I have a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It makes it so all of my tendons, ligaments, and joints are made inferior. Things bust on me easier. Not bones, but like tendons and ligaments and cartilage and stuff. It breaks down far easier than the average human being. My body is aging prematurely, and it's like on a fast track towards that. And I've asked God, I've said, why? Why did you give me all of these different passions and all of these different gifts and all of these different things and abilities that I want to do physically with my physical body? And yet you gave me this body. And it's been told to me again and again and again. Because if you had the body of a man, you would never follow your spiritual path. You would never be able to turn back to God because you would see how powerful you were on your own. That you would never look for help. That was a big thing for me to learn, a big thing for me to accept, for me to know in my wholeness, in my fullness, and to understand. God does not make mistakes. Christians do. Humans do. God does not judge harshly. God leads with love. Humans, Christians, they lead harshly. They lead with judgment and hatred. Look at music. Look at music. When someone is singing from their heart and their soul, it does not matter what their words are saying. It will fill you with chills, and you will feel this amount of love where it feels almost contagious, where you feel lost in a trance, where you just need to hear it more. And you go, this person can't even sing. And yet, you go back again and again and again and again and again. They're not classically good singers. If you heard them singing on a sidewalk or with headphones in, you'd probably tell them to shut up, that they don't sound well. But when you can feel that energy, you can feel that space, then you know they are meant to sing. Things of that nature. Music carries energy, it carries vibration, it carries love, it carries emotion. I'm sure you guys have all heard different songs where it feels like the person is just going, blah, 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 blah. This song will make me money, blah, blah, blah. And you can feel it in their songs. Even if the song is popular, I can feel it. One of the songs that I used to hate, absolutely hate for that reason, but everybody around me loved it, was a song called Oh My God by Usher. I think it was, yeah, Usher. When you listen to that song, you can hear him, he's like, oh my God. There's no love in it. It's just his voice. It's just his mouth. But when you listen to a song like Confessions, where he's pouring out his heart and his soul, and he's speaking about infidelity, for God's sakes, you can feel it coming over your whole body. You can feel those shivers and those chills. It's not about the terms. It's not about the words. It is about the energy. It is about the frequency. That's why Jesus said, that you will know my people, you will know my followers by the way that they live, by the way that they love, by the way that they give, by the way that they make others feel. It's not about the terms. It is not about the words. It is not about the judgment. It is not about the rules. It is not about condemnation. It is about leading your life with love and respect and kindness and giving and selflessness. Those are the fruits of the Spirit. It's not about if somebody goes to church or if somebody reads their Bible. It is about that personal relationship that they have with the divine, where their heart leads them to. That's why across different religions and all that stuff, you will find people that just emanate this feeling of holiness. Monks do that because they lead with a place of love. That's the message of Jesus Christ, is to lead with love, to love one another. That's all he spoke about again and again and again and again, that it's not about the rules, it's about the way that you love. God tried to show so many different times that it's through his love that you are saved. But instead it ended up being that he had to rain down fire and brimstone and judgment and all this stuff because people could not hear it. They would not receive it. So he had to physically send his son, send a piece of his soul, send a piece of God down into a physical embodiment onto earth to then physically show people how they are supposed to live, how they are supposed to rule, how they are supposed to govern their lives, and how they are supposed to spread the news and spread the word. It is not about the physical words. It is about the energy. It is about what is in your heart, what is in your soul, the way that you make others feel. That is what is most important to God. It is not the way that you dress, the way that you look, the way that you identify, the way that other people view you. It is how God views you. God doesn't care what language you use. He doesn't care if you say Jesus instead of Jesus. He doesn't care about what your accent is, your stutter, your speech impediment. If God can hear your prayers that you say through your heart, why do you need words? Why do you need to say specific phrasing for people to see that? I have been attacked again and again and again by people saying that I am wicked and that I am evil because I don't praise in the same way that they do. You know who said those things to me? Those people that have attacked me, that have given me nothing but hatred, that have tried to end my life, quite literally. Those people are the same people that say, I am a Christian, so I am better than you. You are scum because you are not me, because you don't do things the way that I do things. That is not how God loves. That is not how God rules. And if it is, then I want no part in it. I had to change the way that I spoke to God whenever I was very young because I had learned that a lot of times the darkness will get caught up on terminology because they need the specific terms to be summoned. In churches, they will say to you, do not ever speak of the devil. Do not speak of the demons. Do not speak of darkness, that is a sin, that those things do not come from God. But to be honest with you guys, God gave us the ability to see things, sense things, feel things, and know things. Any church that you go to that says that those things are not coming from God, that you need to shut your eyes and your ears to them, walk out of that church now. There is a spiritual battle that is happening on the earth plane where beings of light and beings of darkness are walking around freely, roaming around freely, inhabiting whatever and whoever they can. So if you can see them and you can sense them, and you're being told by a holy person, by a Christian, by a leader, that those things aren't real and you need to just pretend you don't see them, who are they working for? I'm just asking questions. It's kind of one of my things is I just ask questions. Ask questions that make people think. I plant seeds inside of their brain to unlock things within them, to make them question, to make them wonder, to make them be curious enough to look for their own answers, to follow what's in their own heart. I will not show you guys the path. I will show you through my life, through my duties, through my actions, again and again and again and again and again, the love of Christ that is within me. Many, many, many years ago, I had to change the terminology that I used because whenever I would say God, whenever I would say Jesus, I would be filled with hatred and anger and all of these dirty feelings. And I know through energy work, through spirituality, through my own exploration of my own spiritual gifts, that the frequency in which you are calling out, in which you are speaking, in which you are operating, that will attract things. Like will attract like. It's not opposites attract. It's the magnetism of who you are is what you will attract and what you will give out. If you are someone that likes to do a lot of drugs and all that stuff, you're going to be surrounded by a whole bunch of junkies. You're going to be surrounded by a whole bunch of people that do that. If you smoke cigarettes, if you drink alcohol, if you whatever sin it is that you're doing, whatever guilty pleasure you have, whatever ways in which you operate, people that like anime, they all cling to each other that like anime. You just gravitate towards those that you are like. There is an opposites attract sort of a thing, because it's just that they're polarizing and they want to change each other. They want to morph each other so that way one can be more like the other. Moths are attracted to the light, but not because they are light, because that's where their predators are at. That's where their prey is at, I should say. That's where the bugs are at. They're there to eat the bugs. Okay, they're not there to worship the light. Like, there's a whole bunch that I need to unpack. There's so many different messages that are coming through this message. I think I'm going to leave it here. I think that if I keep going, it's going to muddy the waters a little bit. So I'm going to end this here. So in saying that, when someone comes to you and they don't proclaim to be a Christian, do not assume that they are not a follower of God, that they are not a follower of Christ. Their terminology might be different, but look at the fruits of the Spirit that is within them. Do they have patience, self-control? Do they lead with love? Do they forgive often? Are they able to look past the differences? Are they able to see the heart of someone instead of what's physically in front of them? There have been many times that I have been covered and shielded, looking with different appearances and stuff, where God has shown me different things through different ways that I approach people, ways that I present myself, to see the energy of how people will react to me differently. Even if I'm leading with the same heart, the same love, the same thing, just my physical appearance will change how people react to me. If I take off my hat, if I take off my glasses, if I let you see my hair all crazy, or like in older videos when my hair was shorter, people would respond to me with hatred, pure hatred, because of the way I looked. That is an issue with man. That is not an issue with God. The divine sees what is inside of you, what is eternal, that is in you. It sees your soul. The divine knows that we are physically embodied for a short period of time, but our souls will go on forever and endlessly. So I'm going to leave that here. I'm going to leave that here because that is all I need to share. So I love you. The divine that I serve loves you. My heart loves you. Follow the path that your heart opens, that you become filled with love and with light. Follow what feels true to your soul. Not what other people are telling you again and again and again and again and again. Of you gotta be this way, you gotta be this way, you gotta. Don't follow that path. Follow what is inside of your heart. What makes you feel pure? What makes you feel giddy? What makes you feel like a child on Christmas? That is the divine. If you're not able to recognize that, then you need to seriously do some soul searching. Disconnect from everything that is around you, from all of the noise, all of the things that humanity think is important. Take time away from social media. Take time away from the internet. Spend some time in nature just observing how animals behave towards you. Observe how children behave towards you. See what happens when you lead with love. See the difference. That's all that there is you just need to lead with love. That is the greatest teaching, the greatest companion, is to just love one another. Treat others as you want to be treated. If you want to be told that you're a POS, that's your own prerogative. I'm telling you right now, the divine never wants you to feel like you are a POS. Never, ever, ever. There's never once been a time that the divine has not loved you. Ever. It's like a baby being born, a brand new, beautiful infant. Would you look at somebody with love if they said, I hate that little baby? No, you would go, what is wrong with you? That is all I have to say. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. The divine loves you. Don't forget, keep God and Jesus in your heart, whatever that means to you. Whatever you need to do to keep your heart space open and pure and filled with love and with light, that's what you are to do. So, thank you guys.